We just had another Phil Spencer shelf reveal, along with him talking about buying even more studios across the industry. Let's get into what Phil Spencer had to say and what studios they might be targeting, because right now the biggest news in the industry is studios joining other publishers. And right now, Sony and Xbox are both buying like crazy. Let's get into this and let's talk about what was said by Phil Spencer himself. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, make sure to hit that small little bell icon. It helps out the channel a lot. Okay, so let's get right into this because there is a lot going on. One, Phil Spencer has had plenty of interviews lately. He's talked about Game Pass, Xbox Series X, new games, and now new studios that might be joining Xbox. Yet this new interview really does reveal a lot about what type of studios Xbox might be targeting, but also might hint at the type of strategy Microsoft is taking when it comes to new studios and maybe acquisitions. Now, of course, this is something that's been discussed a lot. The reason for this is because publishers and big companies across the gaming industry are starting to buy up a lot of content creators. This is something that Xbox truly kicked off back in 2018 when they bought 7 studios, plus another studio in 2019 and another massive publisher in ZeniMax Media in 2020. So as you can see, Xbox is buying up studios they feel fit their culture. And what's the key word there? Culture. Because it's not just buying studios to buy studios. And that's something that Phil Spencer talks about. Let's get into what the article mentions right here. Xbox will acquire more studios, Phil Spencer says. We're definitely not done. There is no quota for how many more studios Microsoft will acquire or when the deals will be made, however. Microsoft will continue to buy more game development studios, according to Xbox boss Phil Spencer. Speaking at a Wall Street Journal event on Monday, Spencer said Microsoft will definitely buy more studios, though there is no timeline for when the deals might happen. We're definitely not done, Spencer said, as reported by Tom Warren. There's no quota, no timeline where I have to go acquire studios by a certain time. But if we find a studio where we have a good fit, absolutely. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. The first thing I want to talk about is that Phil Spencer says they're not done buying studios. We've heard this from not only Phil Spencer, but Satya, the CEO at Microsoft, has spoken openly about Xbox buying more studios. They want to invest in gaming, and not just in a small way like they used to. No, they want to invest a lot of money into studios, creators, IPs, internally, and even hardware like we saw with the Series X and Series S console. So this is going to be something we see for a very, very long time through Microsoft and Xbox. So hearing Phil Spencer saying they're not done tells us two things. One, they're going to continue to look into new studios. That's a given because most studios and publishers are doing this exact thing right now. The second one is that they're already talking to studios around the gaming industry. It's something that's been rumored for a very long time. I talked about Avalanche Studios, the people behind Rage 2 and Just Cause. They have 3 studios under their belts and could be someone Xbox could be looking at to acquire. They're currently making Contraband, an exclusive Xbox game that was announced at E3 this year. Then there's IO Interactive, who's making Project Dragon for Xbox, the RPG game that's been rumored for what seems like forever. They've been talked about a lot, and to be quite honest, they've been a studio that Xbox has been keeping an eye out on, and they had record profits this year, so that might be a good studio for them to look into. Then there's Crystal Dynamics, the massive AAA studio behind Tomb Raider and Avengers. They're currently in a massive contract deal with the initiative making Perfect Dark for Xbox exclusively. All of these studios are currently locked down with Xbox for the next 3 years at least. Which brings me to Phil Spencer's quote. They don't have a timeline for this, and they don't feel rushed to buy any studios. What they want to make sure first is that they're a good culture fit for the Xbox family and the studios that are there already. That's something that's been talked about lately from not only Phil Spencer, but also insiders that have intimate knowledge of what's happening over at Xbox. So all those studios I just mentioned are being tested, so to speak, if they fit well with the Xbox culture and the type of games they want to make. So why not partner with potential studios that could join Xbox Game Studios and see how they make games? See if they fit with the rest of the people under Xbox. But most of all, it's an organic way of growing your studios. Build a game together, build that relationship, and if the interest is mutual, why not make an offer to see if they want to join Xbox because hey, you guys get along anyways. But the article doesn't stop there. They also mentioned some other studios in other regions Xbox might be targeting. And they also talk about Sony buying multiple studios this year. Let's see what the article talks about right here. Spencer didn't give any indication as to what studios Xbox might be looking at to acquire, but he has said Microsoft wants to buy another Japanese studio. Microsoft's last big gaming acquisition was ZeniMax/Bethesda, which is paid $7.5 billion to buy. Microsoft now has 23 game development studios spread across the world working on a variety of projects. For its part, Sony has been buying up studios of late too. In 2021 alone, Sony has acquired 4 studios including Bluepoint, Firesprite, Nixxes, and House Marquee. Okay, let's start from the top. The Japanese studio is something that Phil Spencer himself has talked about for several years. He's talked about them in interviews, he's talked about them at E3. It feels like he's been talking about this since about 2018. They've wanted to expand in that territory like crazy, and after seeing the record sales for the Series X there, you can see they're having some kind of success over there. But they still need to get a better foothold in that market. They just got Tango Gameworks from Bethesda, who's in Japan. They're the studio making Ghostwire Tokyo, which, funny enough, is a PlayStation exclusive set to release in 2022. So they have a Japanese studio that makes AAA games, but they're currently pretty busy, but I think that's a really good studio to have. But now that they have a studio with talented people there, I have a feeling that they could either expand that studio and build another studio within that, or they could use that studio as a way to recruit even more talent to a second studio there. Either way, I have a feeling there's something in the works with some kind of studio over there in Japan, if not a publisher there, because Phil Spencer and Xbox has made it very well known that they want a studio there, either buying one, building one, or just signing second-party exclusive deals. No matter how they do it, they'll get something over there because it's been a very key point for Phil Spencer. I mean, he's flown over there multiple times. He's talked about Japanese games coming over to Xbox, so I think he's building relationships there, and we might see something pretty big happening soon, but who knows. Yet from there, the article does mention Sony and their acquisitions in 2021 alone. They mentioned the 4 studios they've bought. I'm glad they brought this up because it shows that Xbox isn't the only publisher buying up all of these talented studios. Like we've said in so many times before, competition is king. And after Xbox bought ZeniMax, Sony had some internal conversations and decided, hey, they needed to invest in first-party studios also. So as you can see, this year, they did just that. They expanded like crazy and even expanded their PC platform usage with Nixxes, who ports games to PC. So this is starting to look like multiple companies are competing for one thing: content creators, aka studios and developers. And it doesn't matter if you have an awesome service like Game Pass or you sell each game individually for $70. The publishers and console providers have one goal: bring as much content creators or developers into their first party output, because these new studios being bought isn't going to stop anytime soon. And while Phil Spencer said he doesn't feel rushed, I think that has a lot to do with the ZeniMax buyout. They have a very solid first-party output right now that consists of almost 23 AAA studios and 35 teams making games for them. They don't have to worry about a drought in their first-party output. And let's say they don't have a studio in their first party ready to release a game just yet. Well, they have so many other games to choose from, not to mention the third-party releases that they have in development with, let's say, Avalanche or Crystal Dynamics or whoever else out there in IO Interactive. So yeah, I think Xbox is going to buy new studios in the next year or so, and I think that Sony might buy another studio by the end of this year alone. I see Sony putting their foot on the gas, and I see Xbox dropping some new studio on us next year when they're all done with the ZeniMax deal, because we have to remember that deal wasn't finalized until this year. So Microsoft dropped a whole lot of money this year. Either way, let's see what both Sony and Microsoft do, because right now, they're going to compete at a breakneck speed this generation. We as gamers get to sit back and enjoy the show, because like I've said always, competition is king, and I'd love to see both companies and both publishers go head to head and even compete with other publishers like EA or Ubisoft or whoever else out there, because you know what? That just means I'm going to get more games for the platforms I love. But enough of what I think about this. Tell me what you think about these studios. Do you think Phil Spencer is hiding any new studios up his sleeve? What other studios do you think Xbox is looking at? Are they looking at entire publishers to buy? Will we see Sony buying more studios for their PlayStation 5 platform? Is this going to be a consistent battle between Sony and Xbox all generation? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been playing a lot of Back 4 Blood. I've been playing a couple other games I can't really talk about yet, but you'll see those come up soon. And I've been really just enjoying gaming in general. I mean, I've been playing Warzone, Back 4 Blood, Rocket League. I've been playing just a lot of games. Oh, and Far Cry 6. I have to say, Far Cry 6 is the best Far Cry I've played ever. I love 4, I love 3, and I love 5, but man, is 6 so good. I think everything is just so much more improved than 5. I think they've upgraded the graphics, the physics, the gunplay, the world. Everything about it is just great. Plus, it's high fidelity, and I am playing it on my PC with my 3090, and I have to say, it is flawless. I'm getting like 60, 70, 80 frames with ray tracing, native 4K at the highest resolution with ultra settings. Talk about a fun time. You can see the gameplay right here. I recommend everybody check it out because, man, that game is fun. But now, we're waiting for all these other games to come out like Guardians of the Galaxy, Forza Horizon 5, and you name it, Age of Empires. There's so many games coming that I'm excited. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Series X, your PC, or your PS5? Let me know down below because that's what we're here for. It's to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.